Good evening. Thank you for joining this evening on the long game. So, today I promise to speak about six practical ways of businesses you can start with little or no capital. So, I'd like to start here. There is no such thing as an easy business. There are only businesses that you are willing to work long and hard enough on. So before we start on the actual six ideas that I do have, I'd love you to also just join me. Let's be in conversation and also share your ideas on the chat. I'd like us to address some things of and core filters of what we need to be thinking about when we are in business, when we are starting businesses. A lot of us started businesses from our passion. A lot of us started business from what we were good at. But I'd like us to take a frame that will sustain business, and that is what problem are you solving? Who are you solving that problem for? Does that person have the money to pay you? And is that person actually willing to pay? Because sometimes you can't have the money to pay and you're just like, maybe I won't pay for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's just get into who do you need to be for you to succeed and make it in business. So, firstly, as I've already mentioned, let's solve a problem. How painful is this problem for the person? So, how this problem thing manifests is if you are solving a problem for someone who already has a need, who has already identified their need, and they are looking for a solution, your sales cycle and the amount of persuasion and investment into landing the client will be a lot less than if you're just leading with what you think. And sometimes you have an idea and you need to go into the market and see, is this a real problem that people are willing to solve? A lot of startups fail in this regard. So startups for me are quite interesting because with startups, sometimes you are solving problems that people didn't even know there existed. Remember when you before Uber, you life was normal. You ordered a cab. You organize your parents. You organize your friends. You organize your family. You organize a shuttle. You organized something or someone for your transport. So we never really knew that hey, we needed something like this to be able to call cars at our fingertips. So that's the thing. Sometimes it's interesting and sometimes it's difficult to find that problem, but invest the time, especially in that business model that you are choosing, to say, is this actually a problem someone is willing to solve? Do they have the money to pay for it? And how painful is it? The more painful it is, the faster the sale happens. People are just willing to give you the money and you won't struggle for customers. And another item, just as secondly, in terms of who do you need to be, is actually solving problems for people who have the money to pay you. A lot of mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs is that we want to do passion. It's like, Nami, I'm there, right? I'm passionate. I'm in the events industry. I'm passionate about technical. Give me anything technical. And sometimes we want to solve people, we want to sell to people like us. It's a growth point that I needed to shift in my business, where I had to realize that I am not my customer. My customer is somebody else with the money. So I'll make an example. I'm a musician. I love music. I love technical. And I'm passionate about up and coming musicians. Why? Because I love how these guys are working on their craft. I love how they are creating something unknown. They are exploring their talents. I love how up and coming musicians are making something out of nothing. But as customers, for me, they are not a good customer. They're not the best customer. Some, yeah, but in terms of growing my business, as passionate as I am, as in love as I am in in their story, sometimes my team has to be like, yo, hold up, does this deal make sense? Because what I'm trying to stress here is look for people who have the money to pay you. And this is because sometimes you just look at people around us. So you're used to the people in your neighborhood, you're used to people in your suburb, at your workplace, and you're looking at those guys and you're just like, I want to sell this thing, or I want to solve this problem, but is this person actually willing to pay that money? And from my experience, it's, as I've said, it's something that I've had to work on in myself to say, I am not my customer. I need to get into the mind of my customer. I need to have conversations with guys who are my customers, find out what are their problems. And in terms of the events business that I run, more than the glitz, the glam, the real thing, my high paying, less stressed customers are hiring me and my team for. They're hiring so that they're hiring us so that they can remove the stress off their plate. Running an event is stressful enough. They know if I hire these guys are reliable. And in terms of where they are with their wallets and price tag, they're willing to pay. And sometimes we corner ourselves as entrepreneurs to think, whoa, this price is high. I remember when I started, I used to think this price is high. And this is where I want us to really work on ourselves, to say that when you think your price is high, you are probably looking at the wrong customer or not the right enough customer for for your service. And there's two ways about it. To be able to land the clients that you want, in terms of clients who've got more money and are able to pay for your service. Firstly, you need to know where they hang out. You need to know what they like and how do you deal with them. And then secondly, you also need to be a person that they are willing to trust. So if you're going to premium clients, those guys value their time. If you're going to have a meeting with them or if you're going to get any of their time, you got to be timely, you got to be branded professionally, you must look professional, you must have that trust built, you must be that type of person and structure yourself in the caliber that this person is willing to hear you out and give you the deal. So what am I trying to say in this point is, let us always look up in terms of who do we solve and not just sideways. I've made this mistake, and a lot of us make this mistake of trying to sell to people like us because our stories are compelling. We've got compassion towards ourselves, but that's not money. So let's train ourselves to go to where the money is at. And I just want to share something else to say. Business is not easy. And I think if I had a slogan, I must make this sound sexier, but I don't like selling dreams. I don't like selling air. And even though I push business, business is how you create wealth, whether you run it yourself or whether you buy it. This is how many wealthy people have created wealth. But I never want to push the narrative that it's easy. So one of the models that has really, like, it really resonated. I've always thought about it, but when this guy Alex Hormozi, I really love his content. When he just explained it to say the grass is always greener on the other side. So I'll just share this picture, right? To say there are 5 stages of business. Where the first stage, you see a business, you just like, oh, it'd be cool to go into this AI thing. Everything is AI. That's where everybody's making money. And then you just like, you're there. It looks easy. Then you get there. You when you're starting out, you've got uninformed optimism. So you're just looking at it, as we've said, grass is greener on the other side. So now you get into it, feet deep in. Now you've got informed pessimism. You're just like, well, this industry is not growing that much. Well, everybody who was advertising this AI thing made it seem like it's the bomb diggity. I'd get clients very fast. And you're just like, oh no, this thing isn't working. And as you push in, you're in this valley of despair. Now you just feel like this business that I'm in is not working. This thing is hard. Like customers aren't paying. I'm not getting my customers. But these are just normal phases that every entrepreneur needs to go through. And it happens whatever industry you are in, whatever you do. Hence, you've seen that a lot of successful entrepreneurs that who now you see as successful, they're like second time, third time, fourth time, fifth, even seventh time entrepreneurs because they've been through this cycle a couple of times and they now know that okay, now you're fully in, you're in despair, and you need to push through the pain. You need to learn what you need to learn because we always think that we know it all or we think that we're good. But when we're in it, there is some growth that needs to happen in and of ourselves so that we can actually be the people who can drive and grow our businesses. So the third stage of this is the valley of despair, and then as you get to get used to it, now you've got informed optimism. You know your industry, you know your clients, you know your suppliers, you know your distribution and logistic chain, and you're just like, yeah, this thing ain't so bad. But as this happens, it's like having kids. I've got three. Like first one, you're just like, oh, this thing of parenting is so hard, and then when the kid is now 4, you kind of forget, Subuti, when you're now like, oh yeah, I think I should have another one. You kind of forget the stage of the nappies, you forget the stage of the crying, you forget the stage of not sleeping, you forget all these things that were painful in the beginning. Because while you're now at the stage number 4 in life, you're in the stage of the informed optimism. You're like, oh, cool, it's not so bad as it seems. Until you're just like, you start again and you're just like, whoa, what was I thinking? Benya Pimoing Benya, as the meme would say, because now you've forgotten the challenges, you've forgotten the pain, but such is life. That is how life works. So that is stage number 4, where you've got informed optimism. You now know what you're doing, and you start killing it. And stage number 5, now you're successful and you're fulfilling things. So this is where we want to get to. This is where things are cruising. And just switching back, this is where most entrepreneurs lose it, and most entrepreneurs fail. People, they try something, they dabble at it, it doesn't work, and as they're going through the phases, as I've shared, when they are in that informed despair or that deep valley of despair, they're like, yo, this thing doesn't work. No, the business doesn't work. So instead of seeing where they need to grow or how they need to pivot or what they need to do, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners give up when they are hitting that road. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say business ain't easy. The grass is always greener on the other side. Whatever you are in now, if you put your head down, look at where the market is going and see how you can optimize, you can find that instead of today, what are we doing? What's the flavor of today? There's chicken, poultry farming. Everybody is doing eggs. You stop what you're doing. Boom. You're now having to figure out chickens. You have to figure out BP. You have to figure out the chicken feed, because you're jumping from venture to venture to venture. Can you have multiple ventures? Definitely, I do believe that you can have multiple ventures, but then you need to think strategically. It's a different ball game altogether. But what I am trying to warn against is jumping on the flavor of the month and always starting something new. So as an entrepreneur, there's more value in your persistence and there's more value in your consistency and learning to solve the problems that are before you, as opposed to just jumping around businesses. So gonna move on to just the ideas now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see that we've got people online. Let me just check Twitter as well. Would love to see your comments come through in terms of what business ideas do you want to share with the community in terms of what do you think people can work at if they don't have a business in 2026. So, as I'm saying, before I get into my practical ideas, I really just want to promote consistency. I want to promote stability. To say your consistency in whatever you're doing is what will win you clients. It's what will move you from point A to point B, as opposed to 3 months you're in this business, 6 months you're now in that business, you never fully get into that business. So let's just recap. As you start any business, look away from yourself, look to your customer, and answer the question, what problem are you solving for that customer? What is their pain? How do you make their lives easier? Because when you are solving their pain and they have the money and are willing to spend that money, that's when you are going to get your sales, and that's when you're going to make your sales and marketing journey easier. Not easy, easier. Okay, cool. So let us get into, drum roll please, the 6 businesses that I'm thinking about that you can start with little or no capital. Definitely, business is everywhere. If you look at your neighborhood, if you look at your colleagues, even at work, if you look at your church, if you look at school, the school you're going into, or your child's school, or whoever the schools around you, opportunities and problems are everywhere. And your opportunity of business is that gap between what people need and what you can offer and the knowledge you have. Okay, so idea number 1, I'd say in this digital age, there's still a big market for digitizing local businesses. So a lot of people are selling digital services online, and your local business has been doing very well by being local. If you've got your local plumbers, your local tutors, your local hair salons, your local mechanics, your local funeral parlors, those guys have been running their businesses. People know them from word of mouth. And you can see how do you find your customers in this regard. You look at their name, you Google them, are they online or not? And if they're not online, that is your opportunity of this digitizing local businesses. And there are various ways that you can digitize them, and that is Google Maps. It used to be Google My Business. Now they've condensed it and made it Google Maps, but it's the same thing. So a lot of people find suppliers by saying plumbers near me, or they say mechanics near me. I'm trying to think what's the latest service. I was looking for laptop repair near me. So for local businesses to appear on that Google Maps, they need to they need to sign up with Google, create a profile. And a lot of business owners don't have time for it, or they don't have that expertise of sitting there. And that for you is a gap to say, look for businesses and people actually making money, where you can say, hey, I can help you get more customers by creating a digital profile for you. I can ensure that you've got WhatsApp for business, help them set up WhatsApp for business, and just branding. A lot of this information is available online. I really love the University of YouTube. You can learn anything you need to learn on YouTube. So if you've got an idea, you see how businesses are digitized, but the 3 assets, let's call it 4. 4 assets that I believe local businesses must have and they need them maintained is 1, Google Maps. That's where people are finding. service providers, even if they Google on not Google on ChatGPT, or even if they search on ChatGPT because ChatGPT is coming up, it's still they need to be visible online. Websites to prove, okay, this person or this company is legit. Social platforms, that's also a service of digitization. And there are two models of it. There's the model of a setup, and you charge one amount and you set up the customer, and you can also set up a subscription or recurring revenue to say, I will charge you X to set up your profiles. And if you'd like me to keep your profile up to date and post once a month, this is your fee. If you'd like it on a weekly, this is the fee you charge. And you create different packages that you can charge your clients for. So definitely feel that this digitization, there's still a huge gap. And as much as you can be discouraged into think that people, you feel like this is so easy, why aren't people doing it themselves? People have their pains, people have their problems. Some people don't like technology. They just want to know that something is done and it works. Some people don't have the time. Some people don't have the patience. Some people think they're too old to do it. So that is your gap. And as I've said, we can target hardware stores, funeral parlors, construction companies, private schools, clinics, local transport operators, anyone who you feel that has the money to pay you the fee that you would like. Target your target customers. Okay, so let us go into okay, capital. Let's also talk, as I said, little to no capital. So what capital do you need here? You need a phone, you need your data, you need your laptop, and you need to invest in your skill and learning how to service these customers. So with this one, you are not just selling digital presence, you're not selling a website, you're not selling Google Maps, you are selling the customer visibility to their clients. If their clients can see them, they can make more money, therefore making whatever fee you charge negligible. Okay, second idea is we're living in the age of AI. Sometimes this AI, the use of this AI word is overrated. Automation, digitization. I'd like to just simplify it and call it, how can we bring digital efficiency to businesses? Whether it's small businesses, medium businesses, whoever you've got access to, how do you make their lives easy? A lot of businesses that are functioning, that are making money, are inundated in admin. And a lot of companies, they struggle to invoice. They're not on any type of CRM. They're not on any type of accounting system. They don't even have basic invoicing. So this is an opportunity for you to look at what's working out there, research what other companies are using, and how can you bring that digitization and organization to companies around you, businesses around you, people who've got the money and are willing to pay you. And with this one, in terms of digitization, you're selling a solution to their pain. And I can speak about my own pain. I have a staff member that I have on staff now. They literally approached my team and they're like, "Hey guys, I see that you've got social media. It's happening, but it's not really on par. Can I pitch my services to be part of your team and do marketing?" We're just like, "Okay, cool. Send through a proposal, read it. I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. Let's hook up." So I've had a lot of service providers approach me as a business to say, "Hey, I see that you are doing ABC, or I see a gap. I think, do you need my services in this regard?" So do not be afraid to approach people already in business, people who are already doing things, and you see that this service could be of benefit to them. You never know their head frame and what they're looking for. If they are already looking for that opportunity and they just happen to meet you at the right place at the right time. So, what can you offer? You can offer invoice templates, quotations, um, stock tracker, CRMs, WhatsApp. You can also, if you're a tech savvy, the world is your oyster at this moment. Because if you're tech savvy, there's a lot there. You can actually even build like a system for them to run and see how things are working in their businesses. Their staff can log things, or you can just get something off the shelf. Like there are a lot of good off the shelf systems that a lot of businesses are using. I can name Zoho, which has a big suite. I think Odoo has a big suite, and also Freshdesk. They ain't paying me, but I'm about you making money. So research those companies. What are other businesses using, and how can those tools be of effect? And you can be that specialist who helps the businesses around you to just implement and save them time, and you can get some good income and retainer from that. And what you are selling here is you are selling that the companies are going to get, or the people are going to spend less time on admin and stop losing money. So that is idea number 2. So let's grab some more. I'd love to see what ideas you guys have online. Idea number 3, virtual assistants. Virtual assistants are very popular overseas. If you look at the South African context, they are actually even growing. So virtual assistants, you can help different people, different people with their work. You can help different business owners. You can help different customers with just simple tasks. And I'll keep coming back to this task of invoicing and following up with invoices. A lot of business owners, they do the work, but they do not fetch the money. And if you come in and say, hey, I can help you solve your problem in this regard, you can land clients on retainer. And if you really deliver, because with being a virtual assistant, not anybody can be a virtual assistant. You need to be organized. You need to know your story. You need to have stakeholder engagement. But if you're that type of person and you've got the skills, a lot of people are overwhelmed and they'd be willing to pay you to do those follow-ups, to do that invoicing for them, and sometimes to even answer phone calls when they're busy. Or like let's say they're doing something before when the phone rings at their company, it gets forwarded to you, you answer, you take the message, and then you send it back to them and they answer. So you are literally selling business owners, busy people, their time back. A lot of people struggle with time and are willing to pay for their time as long as the offer makes sense. So you can offer email management, invoice follow up, appointment booking, and responding to customers. And the different people you can target here, you can target people like coaches, consultants, contractors, small professional firms. As I've said, we're looking for people who've got the money to pay us. So always think with these ideas, to be like, sometimes they feel like out of reach. And the reason there's a disconnect and they feel out of reach is because you are just looking at the people you know. So try and look around, raise your eyes to be like, who has this problem and how can I help them solve it? And fourthly, this has been on a boom, online store drop shipping, where you find a niche product and you just advertise it to those people, those niche people. So if you look at like prevalent things, like you like clothing. If you're selling like generic clothing, you're now competing with the likes of Abotemu or of Shein. So that market is congested. But what item, maybe you can even buy it on Temu and Shein. What item can you bring closer to your target market, and you can have an online shop? And the reason I say online drop shipping, it's when you do the advertising to be like, hey, here's the product, you advertise it, somebody likes it, they pay you. Then when you've got the money, you go pay the supplier and deliver it to your customer. I remember last year, I think it was around April. Was it Easter holiday, or was it July? I was in Durban on holiday with my kids, and I was so impressed by these young men who actually did that. They had an online shop. They hosted their shop on Instagram, and they were selling branded shoes, your Nikes. They had a deal somewhere, so they advertised, and they were actually pushing a lot of merchants, a lot of stock, and that's it. They found their niche. They found the young guys who were like, this online thing using our bank cards doesn't work, but hey, if it's Instagram e-wallets, and they like the designs of the shoes, and that's how they were selling their products. So this one, as I've said, to be successful, it has to be a niche product. It needs to have something special. Because if you're now just selling anything generic, you're competing with bigger dogs who've got bigger budgets than you, who buy in bulk, and they can drop the price low and beat you on price. So hence with this one, you are finding your niche, you're finding their special products, and adding your markup, ensuring that you're making a profit. And the different things you can sell, like your solar products, school supplies, agriculture tools, and like water solutions. And I'll make an example from myself. I'm from Iskawini. We have like a big water crisis. Guys, it's so hard when you go back home, because water water comes back 6 a.m., and it will be like, okay, 5 comes back 5 a.m., by 8 taps are dry, up until like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., water comes back, and around 8 water goes away. So that's round about 6 hours of water out of a 24-hour day. So a lot of people are struggling with water. So if with this drop shipping, like, find companies that are already who already have these package solutions, look for that niche customer and sell them that products. So opportunities are endless. So it's up to you to see where, if you've got a market, and what products you can give that market. And I'm just going to go to the fifth one. And the fifth one is being a distributor. I love this myself. This is how I started my own business, is selling someone else's product. When you're selling someone else's product, you find a product that you believe in, a product that you like, a product that you feel that people have it needed out there. I heard such a bizarre story. Was it this week, where a guy in Europe has made millions and has grown his company, and he was selling frogs. Yeah, I'm a frog. He was selling frogs to European schools, because one day his daughter came back from school and said, "Yeah, well, Dad, we couldn't do an experiment." And like, why couldn't you do the experiment? And like, we didn't have frogs to dissect. And then what he did, he found a supplier of frogs went to the schools, like, guys, you short of frogs, can I provide you frogs? And they sold it. So as I've said, this is a bizarre story, but the business model I want you to think of is using someone else's product. It's already in the market. You can see the need for it. Use that product and just find that customer, find that niche. And there are different solutions here. As I've said, there's solar systems, water tanks, security systems, there's clothing, there's clothing, there's tools, some of these like agricultural equipment. Financial services are a bit difficult. When I say difficult, because there's some FAIR's laws are attached to them. So just sticking to products, things that you have seen work, and you see a customer, and your gap for making money is taking the margin from what the customer pays you and what you pay your supplier. So your role here is to find a market and do proper marketing. Build trust with your customers and build trust with your suppliers. So the last one is being a connector. So being a connector of people and services. So this just needs you knowing suppliers, especially service suppliers, and aggregating that with people in your community. There's a cool Facebook page. I think it still exists. I know a guy where it's just like, do you know a guy who can do this? So you can be that person who people trust, because you have, with this business model, you are solving people's trust issues, and you recommend suppliers, and you can either charge commission. If you land somebody a job, you charge commission on that job, or you charge a referral fee. So a lot of companies, they are willing to pay referral fees. They are willing to pay commission. They're willing to give you something for bringing them customers. I've seen this. This has really worked for me, and I've also paid people referrals to be like, hey, here's a job, do it. If you land the deal, bring it. And what's happening is the person who's you can be that person who trusts. When you're that middleman, customers trust you. So you are selling trust. So be careful with this one to not just bring anyone in your fold, because your customers are coming to you because they trust you. And if the service provider messes up, that's your brand, that's your name, and that messes with your business model. So please choose suppliers that you trust, suppliers that you've worked with. And if it's new, Vele, we all have to meet new people somewhere and somehow in life. Bring people, trust slowly, test and build the business model. Yeah, so those are the 6 ideas. I've got many more other ideas, but I thought I'd keep it simple to something that needs less capital and just more of your thinking, more of your creativity to run. So I'd really love to hear what you guys have to say on the comments. If you guys have any ideas that you want to add, and as we are about to land this, I really wanna, I really want you to think about it, right? To say, as where we started, to say, there is nothing such as an easy business. If there is an easy business, you remember the story of the gold rush here in Joburg, where everybody, like, if everybody hears there's an opportunity, everybody runs to the opportunity, everybody tries to exploit it, and in a short space of time, the market is saturated. And when the market is saturated, people drop out of the industry, and it normalizes. So this is how it is with every industry. Nothing such as an easy business. If it truly is easy, it's easy for a short period of time, and that's when you must capitalize. Remember Ubers as well. When they started, everybody was going to buy cars and in Uber. Now you talk to Uber drivers, they're like, yeah, it's not as good as it was before. And this is not isolated to the gold rush, to Ubers. Everything is like that. There is no such thing as an easy business. There is a business that you are willing to work hard enough for. So, my fellow business leaders, entrepreneurs, I wish you all the success. And if you remember a couple of things from today's long game session, I'd like you to remember that business is not for you, business is for your customers. If you want to be sustainable, make more money, and last, and have it a tad easier, solve someone's problem. Solve someone's painful problem. Do they already have the problem? Do they know they have a problem? Do they have the money to pay you? And are they willing to pay you? If you are focused on solving problems, that's where you have a faster turnaround and easier space for growth. And second thing, besides just the solving of the problem, is divorce yourself, divorce your passion from your clients. Look for people who already have the money to spend and who've got more money for you. I'm also a heart type of girl. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very compassionate. But if you want the money, go and service people who've got the money. And I don't know how this works in life, but nature would have it that sometimes the the things that people were passionate are for or about don't have the money to service us. So encourage you to look outside of yourself and service people with the money. And as you grow, you'll have more money to do pro bono things for the type of clientele that you're really passionate about. And then thirdly, after looking at the type of customer, the grass is always greener on the other side. No business is easy. It's about how long you're willing to sit it out for. As the model we spoke about, just recapping it quickly, is that first stage, you come in, you're excited, grass is green. Second stage, you're just like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Third stage, you're just like, yikes, I want out, tap out. A lot of people quit there. And if you want to succeed, that's exactly when you need to push. That's when you need to go into community, ask people who are in business, like, yo, when's Anjani when this person is not paying you? Oh, when's Anjani? How do you do when you've got disputes with customers? How do you handle? Value of despair takes out a lot of customers. So that's when you need to push and get into people who can help you, redirect you. Stage 4, that's when you're starting to see the light, to be like, oh, this thing ain't so bad. And stage 5, that's where you're like comfortable. You're like, oh yeah, I've got this. And then grass is greener on another side, and you jump, and then you ask yourself, oh, here we go again. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from my side. Let me just quickly check any comment from TikTok. So we've got quite a number of viewers. Really excited for that. And yeah, so in the absence of any comments, I think I'm gonna land it here. But I'd really like to hear, even if you comment later on, to say what idea resonated with you. Do you have any ideas that you are thinking of that you can share with the rest of the community? And is there any other topic you'd like us to cover? So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is TMB. Thank you very much for honoring me and giving me the gift of your time this evening. So looking forward to your stories, looking forward to comments, and looking forward to seeing you next week, 6 p.m. on The Long Game. Peace.